students home that I will broadcast and record this stuff, does anyone say, not me? Because you have the right to be a not me person because you have integrity. So, if so, let me know. It's for the Marcus and the Lua. If you oppose to being recorded, that is.
I have a camera. Wait for the one.
I'm gonna record. If you don't want to be on the recording, then if you want, you shouldn't.
The vampire.
I wanted to do something.
Fucking floor, maybe.
But then,
And the advisor, yeah. Up to my upset one is it's like one of my
They call you
friends.
touching what?
There's no girl, she's arms. That was hardcore arms.
I don't have any.
It was funny that I did these, you know.
No, I have math like but like I have math in like 2 or 3 weeks. We just started.
No, this. It's alright.
We just started chapter 2.
Well, what's the arm muscle weak?
Algebra. Chapter 3.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. That's why.
It's like complex number. Eyes.
Right. We are online. We're on YouTube. Online.
Let me
Something. Subscribers.
please. Very
I got one. I didn't have one. I got only
Yo, where is this?
Oh. Oh my God! There's a viewer.
Whoa! I know random viewers are just gonna join.
Yeah.
What's
Let's
the
see.
word?
I'm gonna watch it.
We are live streaming as we speak for Marcus or and Lua. You will also be able to access this afterwards if you are interested, keen on repetitions. However, the PowerPoint probably looks.
Oh yeah, that's really cool, but it's like you have like a 360-degree camera.
No, it's just a wide.
Around the room.
No. You will not be, your faces will not appear unless you go and stand in front of the camera.
No, I don't.
Okay, but welcome, come back to class. Did you have a fun time Thursday, Friday? I think this morning one of my students who were on distance actually fell asleep during class. They had first some like normal lesson, and then they had to work on their own stuff. And then I was sitting here to answer questions, and then you started. And it's like, could have been something else. See, I asked him. He didn't say that he was sleeping, so who knows? And today is the day, the first day of the week. We're on guess what? 2 days from now. So much fun.
Oh yeah, you like renovated? I think I need to put in your stuff.
It's brand spanking new, so we can decide what's this. So no renovations required. But today, in ENSYS world, we will, or ESS, if you want. I don't know why we use both acronyms, but whatever. In this class, we'll start something new.
8.2.
8.1.
Okay, fine.
As they say in the French.
That actually have
One at least. The 8, I don't know. How do you say 8 in French? Oui.
UIT, AQIT, we.
Isn't that yes?
Yeah.
That sounds like yes. So how can you do?
But yeah, I know a lot of words sound the same. Like you don't pronounce the last letter of the French. We
But this is wait. But isn't this how you spell bird? Isn't this how you write bird? Yeah, muscle. It's only good for an and
Can I find the
All right. Focus up, Daniel-san, as Mr. Riley was saying. Human population dynamics, not dynamics. It's a C. So this is about the human population, how it changes and develops. Oh, 3 viewers now. Oh my god, this is crazy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Get ready for fame.
Oh god, my computer's lagging.
oh yeah.
The stream will be behind.
This is where I feel again.
Okay. So first illustrative picture is coming up of this. Let's see. Here we go. Here we see the human population over the last 12,000 years. More energy. So, Simon, how would you describe this? What's happened? The trend.
Wait, there's something.
Yeah, there's been some kind of rapid increase over here. This period of time, a lot of up. We call this an exponential growth, if you would. But the more people there are, the faster it grows. So, super duper growth. What's going to happen in the future? You can ask your friend, tell your friend what you think. What will happen to human population over the next, like, 80 years?
How many years?
Sorry?
Next
Yeah, 80 years. Up to 2100. What's going to happen?
Yeah, this is gonna be like some sort of it's gonna be like that's then like we have the whole
He said that we're gonna stop at
and then we have the Hunger Games. And then like Minecraft.
yeah.
Just to thank you.
Okay, let's see. How many people? How many think that it will just keep going? Continue like this. Raise your hand if you do, please. Is it gonna just continue like this, the same trend? So,
In the next like 8 years.
80 years.
In 80.
Yeah. Well, coming future, whatever you want, but I would say like in the time period up to 2100 or something like that.
I feel like it's gonna increase, but maybe like slow down, but like still increase though. Yeah.
So it will go. Won't go like straight up, but
Yeah.
still increase.
I don't think it's gonna decrease. Well, maybe, but it's
The population that it will go below 7.7 as it is kind of. No. Ronja.
I think it's gonna decrease because like poverty is also like going down, and many people in poor countries get a lot of kids so they can work. And if that problem goes away, which it probably slowly will, I think it's gonna be less kids. Therefore, population will decrease.
So the population will go down from like the lower levels.
Even out or go down, I think.
Okay. Iris.
But that also means that the healthcare would be better, so more people would survive.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think even if poorer countries would start having less children, that would make the population decrease.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point. Julia.
I guess it will go or keep going up for a while until we either like run out of space or like run out of resources and our living standards become like lower or whatever, and then
People
kind
die
of-
because.
yeah, and then they kind of like even flat lines, I guess, but it won't go down.
Mm-hmm. It won't go below 7.7, but it won't go straight up.
Yeah, maybe 7.5 at best. But like
This is decrease. Okay, so no one thinks it's gonna continue like it is. Let's see what the UN, one of their predictions, estimates. No. Hey, I changed this thing. There we go. So here is one of the UN estimates. Now the difference, of course, is that we're looking at a different time period, not the last 12,000 years, but just like a 400-year period. So the increase doesn't look as dramatic as it did on the other scale. However, like so many of you predicted, the rate of increase will slow down but continue, is the estimate. What do we need to know to make these predictions? What factors are important to be able to make these kind of predictions? What do we need to know? What causes the population to increase? What causes the population to decrease? And the rate of increase or decrease. Which things are important? Tell your friends.
Mortality rate, abundance of resources, water.
Overthinking. Oh, the last one was.
I think it was what is
That's a position.
The world is bad.
Zika virus.
Okay, Al, what did you say? What's important? What do we need to know to make the prediction that it will look like this?
I saw child mortality rate, so if less kids die, then
Fewer,
fewer people die. Fewer kids die, then we'll have a bigger population.
The child mortality rate will determine the look of this.
Somewhat.
Okay. What else? Ronja and Katrina.
Why are you looking at me now?
Simply. Ada, Cornelia, Julie.
Yes.
What do you guys think?
Child mortality rate and births per year, as well as like just deaths per year.
Very good, Anna. Of course. How many people die? How many people are born every year? Put those things together. You can see how if there's more deaths than births, population will go
Decrease.
good. If there are more births than there are deaths, Max. If there are the same number of births and deaths,
It stays.
Ella. Very good. And this difference, of course, makes how big these differences are determine the rate of increase and decrease. That makes some sense, doesn't it? Yeah? If you add stuff, it will increase. If you remove stuff, it will decrease. The more you add, the more you subtract, the faster it will change. Stuff for you guys. Send to your friends, take one copy for yourselves. We're gonna look at stuff together. You get to keep notes.
Wait. That way.
Thank you.
Okay. First, we're just gonna take a note and say that human population has increased drastically over the last couple of centuries. Wait. 4 letters, already one mistake. That's bad. Human population has increased drastically.
Does anyone not have a favorite?
There should be more than as many as there are students here, plus the students are waiting. So 2 more. And of course, when it comes to the Earth's systems and functions, our societies are dependent on the ecosystems, etc., that give us our products, and how we can use those products, of course, depend on how many people we are. The more people we are, the more we have to share the products that the Earth gives us. So human societies depend on products and services of the Earth's ecosystems. So the larger the population, the bigger the pressure on these systems. Exponentially. It is the same as when the rate of increase increases. So that it's a mathematical description of how it increases or decreases. It could be an exponential decrease as well. It's kind of the core of the whole course. Human societies depend on the Earth's ecosystem. They have to be maintained, otherwise we're effed. How are you doing, Julius?
What?
How are you doing, Julius?
Super.
Cool. Happy you're back in school. Okay, let's look at some stuff then. There are many ways we can measure and estimate how populations will increase. One tool is this thing, crude birth rate. That's the number of live births. That means that kids that come out alive per 1,000 of people in a population. So to estimate this, we basically take the total number of births per year and divide that by the total population. So the question then is, does this number depend on the population size of the country? There should be births per year. Sorry. Can you forgive me, Katrina?
No.
Okay. I'll have to make it up to you by cake or something. Does it depend on the size of the population? What do you think, Emilia? Does this number depend on the size of the total population? CBR, crude birth rate. Max S? Why not?
Get the giant.
Because it's per thousand.
I'm sorry.
Julius?
I'm guessing the total population doesn't matter at all.
No. Why?
Well, because since you divide the total number of births by total population, it will technically, I mean, you will get the same value.
Exactly. Very good. So it doesn't depend on, so it takes the population, so we can compare this kind of between different countries, of course, because it will depend, or it won't depend on the total population of that country. So it becomes a relative measure. Very good, very good. So let's see. But we see that it's different in different countries. But it's one important measure of how many people are born, or how the population in that country will increase. So what's the range of difference? Someone who can see close up? Joshua, what do you see?
Range of different.
Mm-hmm. What's the range of this crude birth rate? Where do we see high birth rates? Josephine? That's a continent called? Africa, yes. Specific parts as well. Sub-Saharan Africa. Sahara, yeah. Julius?
I would say developing countries in general have higher birth rates than first world countries, like Sweden.
Good. Now we've covered both geographically description and economic description. Very good. Very good, very good. Second point here, crude means that doesn't take the age structure of the population into account. So that's why it's a little bit tricky, this measure, but that's kind of what it means. But that we'll see that could also will be important for when we make predictions about how the population will increase. Second one, crude death rate. Number of deaths per 1,000 people in the population. And of course, we calculate this by taking the total number of deaths per year to divide by total population multiplied by 1,000. Julius.
When is this from? 2010, yeah. Because like there's no way in hell it's 1 to 4 in Syria today.
Good point.
That's not happening.
No, it's gonna change. I think we have another. I have a later version of it too. Okay, so what do we see here? Slightly different, right? But some similarities. Higher death rate in Sweden than in India. What is Hazy?
We're full of phone people.
Very good.
I mean, we kind of.
So it is important here to look at the structure of the age structure of the population. People or places where you either have high mortality among kids will show up, and people or populations that have high fraction of old people will also get higher crude death rates.
I just have to note that both Syria and Libya is blue. And this is the interesting thing about statistics and like these types of maths is that we can see this is just before the Arab Spring. So nobody contested like Gaddafi and Assad and stuff like that.
Here we go, newer numbers. This is 2020. 2019 is not in there. So and 18 and so on. But we could slide them and see how it looks. But we also can note that this crude death rate is kind of decreasing. You see the whirl here. High income countries has been 1% for a long period of time. Low income countries is decreasing as well. Interesting decrease here. Let's look at the things so we can check different years if you want. A slider. This is from 1950. Looked like that. Overall, much higher death rates. And I guess wonder if we can see the Vietnam War.
Oh, yeah.
Is that Cambodia or Laos? No.
That was Cambodia. It was during the reign of Pol Pot. That's why it became so red.
It's good to red.
Yeah, I'm a social science guy.
Yeah. It's fun with the red Khmers as well. Then that's okay.
Oh yeah.
That's why it became so red.
Oh yeah, and then Syria red during 2015.
Interesting. But that's kind of how that has developed over a period of time. However, it's a little bit tricky to compare because it does depend a lot on the age structure of the population. As we said, if there was a lot of old people. However, then you can look for stuff like infant mortality rates. Might be more, could be more reflecting this of mortality rate instead. Let's see if we can find that. Infant mortality rate. Let's see if that's, yeah, here we go. I love this page. Yeah. Show me the number. There you go.
Then every 10 kids die.
So now this looks. Now we can see here the lower economically developed countries shining out. The number of children that die before the age of 5. Over 30% there in the 80s. So red is over 30% of the kids die before they reach 5. But numbers have been decreasing. Look, no one's over 30% now. Since 2003. 2006, that's when it stopped being any country with more than 30%. Okay, well, let's go back here. Crude death rate. And then we have this. Otherwise, we can also look at total fertility rates, and that's would be the number of children born per woman. It's also important.
One baby, then half. Of course.
And this is the average, of course. But once again, large differences. So, do you have any populations here? Do you think that there will be a decrease in the number of people in the population going forward? Which ones should see a decrease in population size if we look at these numbers? Tell your friends and then tell me. Which countries here do you think will decrease in population size and why?
From this time only, so probably the ones in Spain. How do you have 0 children? It's your
Yeah, but Germany, I don't know about Germany.
But 0 children.
Especially since they're taking longer months.
I don't know.
It's Germany is
They don't increase it.
And South Korea.
Poland is looking at things.
What's that one? Like,
They might.
is that? No, but like, there's
Burma? Is that Burma? Whatever.
No, that's Thailand.
Yeah, I know.
But this isn't about.
Yeah,
Finland, Spain is also, they have like lots of immigration.
Okay, what do we got here? What does Larissa, Julia, Maria, which one have you decided or estimated will decrease and why?
We just discussed like about the question because we were not agreeing. So
Okay, but why didn't you agree? Okay, Larissa, which one do you think?
I thought it would be the yellow because there's going to be less people, since there's a lower birth rate, there's less people to make kids.
Okay. I take specifically, so, okay, good. The yellow one specifically?
Yeah.
Okay. Julia?
I guess I think it mostly like depends on the country, I guess, and where that's going, the whole situation wise. Because I don't really think because the yellow is already like birthing with people with children. So therefore, I don't think they're gonna go down even more. I think they're gonna stay where they are.
Okay. So how many children does yellow represent?
0 to 1.5.
Okay. Emma, Linnea.
Yeah, we were thinking, we said sort of the red countries because maybe as they develop will become.
So they will decrease, the red countries.
Yeah, we said. Yeah.
Okay. Carla, Iris, and Ella, which one did you say will decrease in population in the coming period of time, according to this?
Ella said that he thinks that Sweden.
You did say that. Why did you say that Sweden will be one of the countries that will decrease its population size?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like now with everything, like with the climate change and everything, I feel like people will start to realize we like have less kids because of the big impact it had on the climate.
Mm-hmm.
And since Sweden is quite forward with having, done all this stuff for climate change, I feel like they would sort of increase.
Okay, but specifically, anything specific from the data that's presented here? But from the data presented here, anything from that informs this decision, or this position that you've taken, or only that people are afraid of having their kids contribute to climate change? Okay, Iris.
It's already decreasing. So
Okay.
I would guess it would just decrease.
How can we see that in this image that it's decreasing?
Can't really.
Okay.
I mean, that's just how it was 2019. I just know from past knowledge that it has decreased.
Okay. Actually, there is information here to tell us that it will increase or decrease. Let's see. Julius has his hand up, and he's gonna say.
Well, I was going to say that I believe like Japan and Korea will have like decreasing population. Because I mean, firstly, they are like yellow as seen here, but also.
Well, what does yellow mean? Why
yellow means very few children born per woman, like 0 to 1.5.
Yeah.
And so, as we have seen in the news, as they're talking about, it's an aging population.
Mm-hmm.
Like the population pyramid is becoming inverted. And now the thing is that this is also true for Germany and Spain and Portugal and stuff like that. But the difference is they have quite high immigration, whereas Japan and South Korea have very, very little immigration.
Good.
And then of course the Slavic countries, they don't have a lot of immigration, but they're like always like kind of screwed up. So it's very difficult to say what will happen.
Yeah. That's a good point. At least the immigration point was exciting. It's good. However, there is something. Why do we know that yellow specifically? How many people does it take to make one child?
No, two.
Two people.
Generally, it takes two. So, if people or women in general have less kids than. Fewer kids than which number?
Two.
The population will decrease. If women in general have more kids than 2, the population will generally increase. Very good, very good, very good. So all the ones who are not slightly orange are probably staying kind of the same or decreasing. So if you're gonna have an increasing population, you should have birth rates or fertility of women that is more than 2. 2.1 because you also have accidental death. So 2.1 or something like that. Then you will tend to stay, then you will stay more or less the same. 2 plus whatever the accidental rate is. So if you want to do this like in a super authoritarian system, you can decide, you can roll the dice how many people will need to give birth to 3 kids and how many will. And then you can have women dying as well. I don't know. But basically something like that. And here we see how many children or how many babies per woman. Yeah. How many children per children. That should be the same. The number of children per woman is decreasing and heading towards the magic number
Tall.
2.
2? 2.
But the rate of this decrease is slowing down. It was the highest between the 70s to the 90s, 2000s maybe, and now the rate of decrease is going down.
Yay. Wait, what? No.
It's so sad.
Okay. Anyway, you can put these things together to get an estimate of the increase rate of a population. That means how fast it takes for the population to So that's if the number is over 1, it should be an increase. But this takes, of course, crude death birth rate minus crude death rate, and then you get natural increase rate. So if that's over, it's a positive value, the population will increase in size. And then you can find the doubling time. That's how fast it takes, or how many years it takes the population to double in size.
And then CDR.
So the ones with purple will probably stay the same. The ones that are blue are slightly decreasing. Dark blue, or more strongly decreasing. Those are numbers for 2010 once again. So that wasn't the same numbers we saw before when we looked at total fertility rate. So positive increase, negative decrease, 0, stable population. Okay. And that's, I think, next.
Why does Greenland have any data?
Because it's, I don't know. It's a good point. I mean, it is part of Denmark, right? So it's, so it should have the Denmark's data, but maybe they put it for their own data, and then I don't know.
Maybe there's snow there.
Maybe there's bad census. I have no idea.
Nah, it's just snow. It's fine.
Population Reference Bureau is not interested. It's a good point. But I have no answer for you. Okay, so my idea now is that we've started this a little bit, and we will continue with you doing the exercises that you were given last time, so we don't bite off too much in one go, because I can tell now that maybe people get annoyed by doing the same things for a long time. However, next class, please bring these sheets, because I have more stuff to look at. Hinted already. So Marcus, it's nothing fun going on in this now coming forward. So I'll close this stream, and you can work on the exercises yourself. Ciao. As well, Lua, of course.